One more time. I'm gonna try it now. Look like I'm going good. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. I know it ain't letting nobody know yet, but welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. I started playing with my connection there for a second. It was getting ready to get juicy. It was about to get juicy. We're gonna talk about draconians. Let's talk about draconians. I'm gonna give everybody a minute to come back. I'll give y'all a minute to come back. Because we're gonna talk about the draconians. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Yeah, man, they messing with the lives. They are messing with the lives. They know I'm geared to talk about this draconian. I seen the questions. I saw the questions about the draconian. We're gonna talk about it. Peace. Because I did get asked this question a lot. If y'all really ready to hear that, let's step into it. Because that's not something for everybody. So I'm gonna start with this. There's a video that I did. It's called The Introduction to the Occult. And that video, the reason why I did that video, I gave the whole breakdown of what we know as the occult today, what that we say that the occult is, quote unquote, and how it has come to be called and labeled what it is today. And a lot of it has to do with history. A lot of it has to do with politics. A lot of it just has to do with the Roman Church. So when a lot of information, right, that we have about the occult is propaganda, because it stems from a time, right, when there was a shift, when there was a change in power. So a lot of things became hidden and had to be hidden. Now, if we go back to antiquity, right, a lot of this knowledge came out of the people. It depends on how you study. You know, some say it's the Essenes, you know, or the ascended masters, or, you know, whichever way that you choose to take it. Right? Yes, occult is just a blanket term, right? That's why I say a lot of things that we say about occult is straight propaganda. It's just anything that's not Christian, because it was a period in history where you had the papal bulls, the doctrines of discovery, where it became law. If you are not Christian, you are not of this way, we're going to kill you. We're going to take everything you have. That's it. It's not going to be nothing left of you, period. Okay? So these things had to go underground. Now, granted, you cannot control what, you know, there are some groups, fashions, and everything who have information, right? But also understand that that's all across the board. Even your bishops, your, you know, though they have the knowledge of it in entirety. So you can create things and base them on deities, because what you understand when you get to that level of knowledge is that you are only discussing the names of energies, the expressions of energies. That's just the names that we gave them. So what we see as angelic deities, you know, these things that we personified were descriptions of energy, descriptions of process, descriptions of a means of transformation, transmutation, right? Because it was about the psyche, it was about the work of being a better man, quote unquote, conquering self. That was the greatest work that there is, was to conquer self. You know, the knowledge of self is the knowledge of the universe. So when one knows, the more you know about yourself, the more you can know about the universe. And in reverse, the more you know about the universe, the more you can know about yourself. Because as the law of correspondence states, as above, so below. And as it also states, as within, so without. So when you work on your inner world, you automatically work on your outer world. That was our understanding of energy. So we had different means of trying to display that, because everybody wasn't a high priestess. Everybody didn't have that level of understanding. So you had, and even if so, you had to have a gradual system. You don't go to kindergarten and learn algebra. You know, like you don't learn that in the third grade. You take steps and you gradually progress. That's the same thing when it comes to spiritual information. That's the same thing when it comes to religion. But today's religion only gives you a few steps. It's not going to give you how to truly pull the power out of yourself, because if they do that, then you don't need these power structures to govern you anymore. That's the whole point of the system. They show us all the time. They really do show us these things all the time, but it's disguised as science fiction or fantasy, you know, movies, entertainment. But they show us all the time because they have to still, because this is your story. So you're still getting your story all the time. But what the means is, how can I restrict you so that you don't rise up and step into who and what you truly are? So they're not going to give you all the steps. So when you really get into all of it, it all comes from a source. So what religion did is split it up into pieces. Now you can't deal with this over here because that's of this over here, and that's bad, because it all goes together. So that includes the light and the dark. So when you say light, so the draconian, Draco, we talking about a star system, right? Because we everything that is of darkness, is of chaos, is always supposed to be seen as bad for you, because you have to understand who is telling you the story. If you vibe with what I'm saying. So it's like, if I know your story, and if I know who you are, and if I know what you are capable of, I'm gonna do everything in my power to keep you away from knowing it. So everything that I give you, all this propaganda, is to turn you away from what persists in that knowledge, because what is in it is empowerment. Because most of your quote unquote Satanism is built on Osiris mystery. So they took the mystery of Osiris and made it symbolic to you in a means of, oh no, bro, I can't. But it's you. It's the science of your soul. It's soul science. It's the religion of your soul. So all those things have to do with it. So when we talk about Draco, when we talk about the serpent, the great dragon, when we talk about alchemy, we understand what the dragon represents, because these is ancient foreign sciences. Why do you think they don't know how to do the pyramids? Because this science is not of here. It's something that comes from somewhere else. So, but if I can keep you from that, if it's no means of you being able to tap into that, then I can keep you to what I can keep you. I mean, Satanism and Luciferianism is the science is the rebel. Like Lucifer represents the light bearer. Lucifer is the light. If you think about it like this, yo, what are we right now if we are rebelling against the system? By technical terms, we are rebelling against God. Understand what I'm saying? The government that governs, government ordinance disorder, the government, just, think about it now. To rebel, no, but I'm saying to rebel against the government itself, because the government is what governs the people. We talking about, because see, they took a spiritual science. They built a lot of this shit off of our spiritual science. That's why it works. That's why we under the spell, because it's based on the principles of our own science. So when we to rebel against that, that's why we outcast in the society. You know, that's why all of that is what it is. We are playing those roles. That's the stage laid out for us. So it's like we are coming to the play. The play is based through Christianity, because that's the world we live in. So when you go outside of this, you only sit in the play in the role or position of the bad, because you ain't included in any of this. It's symbolism. It's symbolism. So it's like, they say we the draconians, and so like somebody was asking, was he saying the Lord is draconian or the law? But technically, if you really know occult, you know both ways is really right. Because if you know the science of the creator of this world, and Yaldabaoth, if you know Gnostic, mystic science, because a lot of stuff they give you is Gnosticism. Just play it back to you. It's Gnosticism. Like, they literally took what they tell you is bad and based their own religions off of it. That's how backwards it is. Like, everything that they say is a cult, their religion is based off of it. If you really dig, see, I was the type of person that I really wanted to know. I really wanted to know for me. I needed to know for whatever reason. I don't know what motivated my drive, but I needed to know. And when you really dig in all of it, it comes from the same source. That's why I tell religious people that they're split. Because as a Christian, to believe in God and the devil, it's a split. But don't they come from the same thing? Don't it come from the same? If you're talking about the Most High, that's why some people differentiate and they say the Most High. And they don't say, when they terms, because they're saying the source of all things. What is the source? See, what's good for you might not be good for the system. You feel me? What's bad for them might be good for you. And what's good for you might be bad for them. That's why this is a flip upside down world. So anything that's good for you is not good for the system. Because you're going to become more of an individual. You don't need the herd. You don't need the herd. That's what a siren is. A person that governs themselves, really. That reign over themselves. So when you learn astrology, take astrology. When you learn astrology, and you learn about the planets, them planets in you. So all of these things that's happening based on astrology is because it's you. When you realize that after you take it esoterically, then you can do something about it. But as long as it's not coming from you, you can't do nothing about it. That's why you lack power. See, that's why they always show the dark stuff as the most powerful thing, because in the dark, what they tell you is the dark knowledge is the empowerment, because it's going to tell you what all the power is in yourself. It's going to tell you that how that is really talking about you. So you don't need to go through that. That's just a middleman. Like, it's like cutting out the middleman. It's like, damn, well, I don't need you. You cut that out. You go straight to the source. That's different. It's like you plugged in. That's what it means to be plugged in, to be tapped in. Oh, no, you direct with source. Because no, they're promoting the propaganda of Satanism. See what we see Satanism as. See, understand, real occultists know you don't worship nothing outside yourself. So when people say they worship Satan, I know you ain't studied occult, because ain't no occultist worshiping nothing outside themselves. Anything that you can, all of that is a representation of an inner energy that you bring out, or that you might highlight, that you might make bigger, that you might make a focus on. So they promote the propaganda of it being what it is to keep people away from it. Because the way that I see, most people don't really study. They don't really study what's quote unquote Satanism. They don't really study it for real. They don't really do that. You know what I'm saying? And as far as like, I just like, it's because it's the knowledge. Like, it's to keep you away from it though. It's you know what I'm saying? Like, it's still a propaganda means, because it's like, okay, if we illuminate it, we know we can't flip our switch. So we say we God. We recognize that we God. But when it comes to the devil, we be like, ooh, no, it's the same thing. Both of them is sources from within. You're going to make a choice. Either you're going to do some good shit, you're going to do some bad shit. It's just point blank, period. And you know what's good and you know what's bad. It don't take nothing outside of you for a person to know that. So in terms of that, like, and the use of the atlas and the rap, that's illusion. That's to trap people with the illusion, because people want the material. As long as you hook through that material, because people gonna fold. They're gonna succumb and do things in order to obtain these things. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's manipulation. It's mind control to the sense of manipulation. Like, if I know that I can get you to do some things and it's gonna be beneficial for me, and I get, it's a dark art, it's a dark science, and it's because I'm manipulating your mind. I'm manipulating your insecurities, I'm manipulating your emotions. But see, people, if you're not secure in yourself, you're gonna be food. They're gonna eat you alive. See, that's why so many people get ate alive in that industry, because they don't have no sense of self, yo. So, and when you like that, and when you appease, and you trying to get in the position, you trying to get this, you trying to get that, and you need these material things, it's too easy. It's too easy. Like, that's the easiest thing to do. You know what I'm saying? That's the easiest thing to do. So you have to go through a lot of these, you know what I'm saying, a lot of these levels in your spiritual awareness. So I came to the realization, I don't think a lot of people really truly want to do away with the system. I think a lot of people just want to have the same advantages. So I don't think they will really do away with it, because it's totally and completely unfair. So I don't think everybody has the same motivations. You feel me? See, somebody who do something for you ain't always your friend. You feel me? That's somebody doing something. Somebody could do something knowing it can benefit them too. And somebody who does something to harm you isn't always your enemy. That's that paradox. That's the paradox. That's just being in the gray of things. That's just accepting that things ain't always that simple. It ain't always that blanket of a thing. You feel me? And that's mind control, to have us thinking that immediately certain things are certain ways. You know what I'm saying? But it's just how it is. But that's why I say, to me, in my eyes, a lot of people sell out all the time. I think the mass majority of people sell out. I don't care if you got $20 million or you got $200. I feel like we do it all the time, because people sell away, like they give away the best parts of themselves because they gotta survive. And some people's version of survival is bigger than others. Some people got a grand illusion. Some people make $1 million a month and it's still not enough money. Could you imagine making $1 million a month and it's not enough? Could you imagine it? I can't imagine it. Me, I can't. But I guarantee you there are people in the world that's like that. You know, because what's the use of making $1 million if you got 999,000 in that has to go out? What's the point in it? That's an inner thing. That's a value thing. Yo, why you living beyond your means? Why you need so many material things? It's nothing wrong with having material things, but yo, why do you need so many to the point where it's to a detriment to you? See, that's that balance. It's balance. See what I'm saying? Like, you can have nice things. Absolutely. You should reward yourself. It's nothing but an extension of you. But to what degree? To what extent? You know, when is enough enough? Are you trying to fill a hole that's never going to be filled because that's something else that's there? And that's usually the thing that it is. It's usually, you know, lack of self-worth, low self-value. People been through trauma. You know, poverty is traumatizing, you. Poverty is traumatizing. Some people have some harsh upbringings. Some people go through upbringings and lives where people don't show them no love or nothing at all. And then they get on and get some fame and everybody loves them. And it's layers, yo. It's so many layers. It's so many ways that we can get caught up in this matrix, man. It's just too many ways. I agree. Capitalism is a religion too. I totally agree. So you got to be centered, and it's hard. It's a constant, everyday battle struggle. It's a constant struggle. It's a constant battle. It's like on some warrior shit. You got to be prepared every day, because it's coming at you at all shapes and forms. Like, everything just wants your mind. Everything is literally coming after you all the time. All the time. You know, and it's gonna be times that only you gonna be the only support you have. It's gonna be times you're gonna be the only belief you have. Like, it's gonna be time. So you have to build yourself up so you enough. And a lot of people aren't built up because a lot of people been used and abused in this world, you know, and they have a lot of fears, man. They have fears that they're not gonna make it, fears that they're gonna be alone, you know, fears that they don't deserve being loved. All these things are layers, and I don't care who you are or what you have. People dealing with it. People are dealing with it. That's a real thing. So it doesn't matter about, you know, accumulating those things. That's how they hook people. That's how they hook us. You know, so you gotta try and be firm in your own values, firm in your own, you know, what you value, what you hold to be true, what you hold to be sacred. Some things are sacred. Some things are sacred, and you gotta know that. You gotta stand on it. Some things are sacred, you know. Somebody asked before we got out the other live, but I hope I answer y'all question. I know I kind of got all the way off about the whole Drake about that. I don't know if I really truly answered it. But you know, when you're looking at the snake, you're looking at the dragon, it's the symbol of transformation. So the people of that science, so all of these sciences, all of these things were descriptions of how to transform yourself to become the next level, how to like level up, so to speak. Where to start as far as inner work, you know, or shadow work or opening the third eye. Just the mere fact out of awareness and knowing that something is off, something is wrong here, it's already the awakening process. It's like Neo in the Matrix. I feel like this is a good analogy because you're steady learning. So the more you learn, the more positive habits that you build up, you know, to build up your spiritual self, you'll get better and you'll get better, you know, because naturally your third eye has its own sense of protection. So the more you work and build on yourself, the stronger it is. That's like Inception. So remember in the Matrix when Neo first woke up, and you know it was hard for him to make it through that. That was a very painful process on him physically. So that's a very painful process. What happens a lot of times is you lose things. I don't just mean material, you know, a lot of relationships. It's no different than just saying, you know, it's no different than saying and realize, you know what, something ain't right in my life. I want all the fake people and all this out of my life. Like there's levels to awareness. You know, it's levels to awareness. And I feel more value in awareness than I do consciousness. Like, and I say that because a lot of times consciousness is kind of like geared to like truth seekers, what's going on in the world, how you're being lied to. And awareness is more about being more aware from yourself from the inside out.
I don't really like none of this religious.
I feel you. I agree with you on that too. Yeah, like he said, a lot of these terms, but that's why I don't like these terms. That's why I don't like saying, you know, conscious on spirit. I really don't like it because it still puts a box. It still gives a certain idea. Some people think spiritual, and they be like, oh, okay, you know, you read cards and you know you meditate. Well, yeah, but you know, it's more to it. You know, then I still do regular stuff. Like I'm still a regular person. Like I still want to, you know, yeah, like you still play video game. Like I'm still gonna have a good time because I believe in balance. Like more than anything, I believe in balance, and I think it's necessary to embrace all parts of yourself. You know, I think it's necessary to in healthy ways. Now, of course, now you know sometimes we have unhealthy habits and fetishes that we have to get to the root of why we have those. That's a different sense, but you know. But somebody was asking about science is religious too. Somebody was asking about twin flames, right? So I really don't like the term twin flame. I really don't. Soulmate either because twin flame is like really like you. It's like you, like your mirror reflection, like somebody that just get you, know you, you can just be your complete and utter self with, and it's like no question on what this person is to you. Soulmate is more, I feel we can have multiple, from what I've studied, you know, we can have multiple soulmates because a soulmate is a person that you have a soul connection with, a soul tie with. So that's a person you may have, you know, ties with from previous lives, you know, and they are, you know, they're playing a role in your transformation. So, you know, they might not stay in your life, but they may come through in something vital, an important time in your life, or a transformative time in your life. So because our partners give us, it's an exchange of energy. So whoever we are with at certain part of times in our life, we are exchanging energy with them. So it's times like our partners may be giving us, you know, we are changing, you know, depending on what we're going through in cycles like that. So when people are coming back in your life and you feel like you have these type of connections, these past like connections, you have to ask yourself, are you learning the lesson that's affiliated with this person? Especially if you've already determined that this is somebody that you know you're not going to be with. So there's an energy, something that's still attached to you, that's still latching you to this person, that's still bringing them up in your life. You know what I'm saying? Now, sometimes people just going to pop up, and that's just a means of a way of, let me just check you on what you said. I'm just going to make sure you meant what you said. You know, sometimes, you know how we do this ourselves. We do this. Think about when we teaching our kids, when we are authority over our kids, and we do certain things, and we want to see how much they learn or see if they learn. We do little things like this. So these things can play out like this in life because this is a stage. This is a grand stage. So these things play out in life like that as well. And sometimes you find yourself on a loop, like on Groundhog's Day. If you've seen Groundhog's Day, my man kept going through the same day until he finally got the message. So are you getting the message? Are you getting the lesson? Because if not, it's gonna come back around. It's gonna come back around. You know, it's this game we play with ourselves. So the autism kids maybe tell you might be right about that. You remember on I believe that to be true. And I have to say I believe because I don't really have a means of saying I know that will make people comfortable enough to say that I know. Now, in a spiritual sense, from my inner self, I know, but I'm gonna be with my words, and I'm gonna say I believe that to be true because they have a special way of perceiving reality, and I think that is something next level, you know. But you know, they even if you look at the you know, they showed that on Predator, Predator, Predator. The one with the dude and his son, and he wanted to take his son because he said that his DNA was the next level of evolution. So they be telling us stuff in movies. That's how I be seeing it. As crazy as that sounds to like the average person, and that's because, you know, that's indoctrination. So everything that's, you know, truth is stranger than fiction. Truth is stranger than fiction. Materials on Osiris to recommend. I like Mutwa Ashby. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Muatwa Ashby. But he wrote an Egyptian Book of the Dead. He wrote a you can also look into his Metanetta up there, volume 1. Is Metanetta book up there? Volume 1. Another Egyptian Book of the Dead.
I think it's the front. I'm gonna see if I see it.
Yeah,
he got the Egyptian Book of the Dead.
Let me see that. But yeah, Metanetta is I think it's in the front. But this is a good book to be introduced to comedic spirituality because he makes a great bridge. He's been through some things. But he makes a good bridge between your Abrahamic religions and even down to the Greek names of things in connection to comedic science. But I'm trying to remember who wrote the Osiris. Um, Also, look at Kaba Kameen's book. Kaba Kameen goes into a lot about comedic spirituality. Um, but yeah, but Metanetter, the author of Metanetter, Ra'un Nefer, if I'm not mistaken, I think he wrote a book on Osiris. But you can read the Metanetter. I had the Metanetter myself, volume 1. The Metanetter is a good book. And it's written from from our perspective in terms of really breaking down the how many things. But yeah, the Metanetter is good. This is volume 1. They have volume 2, volume 3. Um, but yeah, that's right. Volume 2 is the um specifically on the Osarian mystery. So if you get volume 2 of this, because this is like an introduction, this gets into it, but volume 2 of it really is like the initiation system. What else? Seeing this is what you've been putting in. I have, but I don't want to talk about it on here though. As far as working with deities, I have worked with some of those energies personally. I know when I went through something. Huh? I went through something personally when I had to do a lot of self healing, like womb healing and a lot of things like that. But yeah, so I have done it. It's just not something I really talked about. It's a lot of things I still don't really talk about on here though.
Did you feel like you needed to just keep coming?
The movie industry, yeah, it is. The music industry too. The music industry too is as well. Oh, okay, y'all can see it. All right, I'm gonna put it up here. Net to net. Oh, I appreciate you, Mr. Score Booster. Yeah, right on there for I mean he's point. Read volume 1, not 2. He said not read 2. Have you seen this is it's a lot of messages. My bad, y'all. I'm just scanning through them real quick. Net 2. I'm gonna type these on here. And the other one was Egyptian Book of the Dead by Muata Ashby. Oh, that's those. I think social media anyway is just an experiment, social experiment. Like this is just the gateway to the virtual world. Everybody's just gonna be so willingly to go along with it. They're gonna go along with it, man. Like this, they just go along with everything. Like it's funny how they backtracking everything they were saying about those shots and everything, but you don't really see nobody talking about it. But we see, and we know what the deal is. We know what's going on. We know exactly what's going on out here. But have any of y'all seen Sandman? Who has seen the Sandman in here? Yep, they be listening to us talk, man. They listen to us, they watching us, everything. Yep. We say certain words, man, they record the conversation. They be on us. They be on it, yo. The first book I showed, that was the Egyptian Book of the Dead by Muwata Ashby. That was this one right here. The Egyptian Book of the Dead was the first one. I know it looked flipped in reverse. The Book of Coming Forth by Day. But, you know, go with the author. Muwata Ashby. Yeah, you can't. I know you can't see it, but so a lot of Egyptian symbols and Sandman.
And you just gotta learn to trust their intuition.
Yeah, I was gonna wait and see. I mean, I'll wait on it. But yeah, so what we talking about? What's good now? Religion is a form of control. Absolutely. It's the opium of the mass. Absolutely. See, that's why we have to realize, you know, some people are gonna be where they are. We have to that some people gonna be where they are. We have to be far enough in our journey to know that. We have to let them be. You know, we have to let them be. Because, you know, some people, they gonna be who they are, yo. And that just might be their journey. That just might be it. So I'm at a different place in my life now. You know, I used to argue a lot with religious people too. And what I've realized too, it's dogma, period. You know, it's just dogma, period. Like, I just don't want to argue with dogma at all. You know, it can be in so many forms. It's just not just in religion. You know, I just be open. I just be trying to be open. But everything ain't for everybody. So we can't keep wasting our time with the people that this not for. Because like we said, everybody wasn't an initiate. Everybody wasn't, you know, everybody wasn't on the knowledge. Everybody didn't understand. Some people was just doing regular things, just carrying on society. There's a new Sandman show on Netflix. Yeah, it's a new Sandman show. I'm hearing. Like I said, I watched that first episode, y'all, and it was bananas. That first episode, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm watching this. Oh, your family ain't gonna be with it. When you leave Christianity, it's gonna be hard. That's like a hard part. And a lot of anger gonna come out of that part. Like when you first come out, because it's hard realizing how much you've been lied to, manipulated, and it's like you feel the chain that's been on your neck. It's like your whole life you've been walking around just a ways, not understanding why you pull certain ways, and then all of a sudden you just come to this realization that it's a chain around your neck and it's been holding you back and it's been keeping you, like, it feels like, I say so many times, and I don't want to be disrespectful to the ancestors, but it just feels like they be trying to drag you back onto that plantation. Like, that's how I feel mentally. Like, you were running for freedom, and they're like, no, you gotta come back. You gotta come back. And it's like, why would I ever want to come back? And they can't understand what you have. They can't understand it. So just know you're chosen out of your family. I don't think it's supposed to be even, I don't even think all our families is supposed to be like that. I think that's the point. I think that's the point. I think we're supposed to come through these lineages and just break through. I think that's just what it is. I think that's literally the initiation. That's the journeys. I think that's a big part of how you move through the underworld and how you get initiated just through life, your life experiences, through waking up, becoming a black sheep, becoming alienated from your family, your friends, losing everybody, waking up thinking life is a lie, not knowing what you're gonna do, bouncing up and down, going from episodes. Like, it's so many things that you go through. It's so many things that you go through, you know, like, but the best means is to just, at least with the internet, at least we can, you know, vibe with those people that are like us. At least we can find like-minded people and do this with, because if there probably wasn't like internet like that when we first started, I don't know if I would have been able to keep going either. Because we found some people, online early in too that was like I still rock with now to this day. So but it has some sacrifices. It has some sacrifices. Like you see things that you can't unsee. You know things that you cannot know. It's no going backwards. It's no going backwards, and it's not easy because it comes with sacrifice. You lose your family. You gonna lose your family. You might still have some remnants of a connection with them if you lucky, but you lose them. Like I know I felt a disconnect with my family, like, and it's like I love them. They still love me, but it's different. It's different. It's big different. It's big different. So just know you're not alone. There's people all over the world that go through it. Because people have to be aware of all different types of truth. That's why I say I vibe more when it comes to awareness, because I feel like people more aware are more open, and when they're open, it's a gateway for compassion, which means there's the ability for people to make a connection. And that's all you need, is for people to make a connection, because ego is what separates. So, whether you want to equate that to, you know, the elite or the people that's in control, whether you want to say that's, yeah, whatever you say, at the end of the day, it's to separate. It's to separate and control. What if this is the bad way? I know that's the programming. That's the hard part. That's the hardest part you'll have to get through. To get through the veil of evil. To get through the veil of evil, because you've been programmed that all this stuff is bad. You've been programmed that everything is bad. So it's gonna take enough of you to feel that fire enough to pursue what your soul is tugging at you to pull it. But it's not just gonna immediately go away. Like because you have to work through that. You have to work through all your life. You've been told if you do this, you're going to hell. If you do that, you're going to hell. And a lot of people, it's their, even though they say they're not religious, they still working through that. Like that's a very deeply, deeply, deeply embedded program that goes all the way down to our core morals. So to even look in that direction gives a sense of shame and guilt. That's the control it has on you, the shame and the guilt. That's what that is. That's what that is. So it's hard, and you don't have any sense of direction, because everything is going to tell you, most things on the surface is not going to point you towards anything like this. So it takes a lot of self-confidence. It takes a lot of, self, it has to do with a lot with the self. But you're chosen. So when you're a black sheep, you're chosen to break the cycle. You're chosen to walk the path. But and it's because you're supposed to come out of your family. You're supposed to come out of them 9 times out of 10 anyway. That's your ancient way. But your family line was broken down by colonization. What's going on, Mr. Score Booster? If anybody is, listen, if y'all dealing with credit, you need to clean your credit. You have credit issues, there's a link on my website where you can learn and do everything you need to about your credit for free. Okay, now if there's a fee, it's for you to get your credit report, but that's a separate thing, but you can learn everything you want to know about cleaning your credit, improving your credit score for free. So go check that link out if anybody got credit issues, because let me tell you, that's something I had to work at, you know. But that was just popped in my mind there.
Yeah, advertisement. Appreciate you, brother.
Right. And then I appreciate that, honestly following you helped me realize that I'm not alone on the path. That was a lot of my why why I started to share, because it's so many people, you know, who, and I recall how I was when I first got on this, you know, I felt so like by myself. I'm lucky that OJ was open when I talked to him about it. I'm glad that he was open enough to, so that I wouldn't feel like I didn't have the freedom to explore that. So, and that's you know, a lot of times in our family environments, and I think that's why getting away when I moved to Atlanta, that's why I was able to learn as much as I did, and why I just went, you know, because I was outside of that environment. And a lot of times our environments that we grow up in, we fall into the old patterns and the patterns and the habits that we know. That's why a lot of people say that people should get out of their hometown, because it's so easy to fall back into your roots, to fall back into your patterns. It's not always a bad thing. Now, don't get me wrong, but when we know that there are things that we have to change, you know, that's the thing. Yeah, the will must be stronger than the skill. And I feel that's the same way with anything in life. That's true. That's very true. And see, that goes into a lot of things that we program with, and the way we process things. The way we process things kills our will. And it's on purpose. That's why it's so much mind control. These things take our will, and we don't feel like we even have the ability to do things. So that's why that religion shackles. That's the limitation, because you don't know how unlimited you are, because you've been shackled. So you can only go but so far. You can only go but so high. So when you get that knowledge that empowers, it builds that will. That will has to do with that power center. So you build your will up, then you can enforce change in your life. But if not, you're going to keep falling to the same pattern. That's how people keep falling when they fall victim to the stars. They fall victim to the planets, to the gods. All that is within you. So when you can't correct and balance that energy out, that's all astrology is. Astrology is just another way of determining what all this is within you. That's all these systems are. All of them are just a way to describe what's already within you, so you can tap in. It's just that some of them tell you that it's a system to tap in, like voodoo. Voodoo is for you to tap in. Think about it, y'all. Them French people thought they thought they had them people, y'all. They tapped into their own natural spirituality, their own natural system, and sent them folks on about their way. And from that point on, them colonists been saying that it's evil, that it's bad. And what do we say? The same thing them colonists said. Colonized minds, man. Indoctrinated minds. Indoctrinated minds. I'm sorry, but just anything that comes from the system, it's not gonna be for the better of me. I know that. I truly know that it's not gonna be for the better of me, you know. So I just think different. I think different, man. Absolutely, school limits us. Absolutely, school limits us. It doesn't even teach us how to think. They just tell us what to think. We don't even learn critical thinking. We don't even question things. Like, think about it. There's a ton of information that we just accept, that we do not question. Look at how they teach us history, how it's a romanticized version. It's not even real history. It's not real history. When you really read history, it's not the same thing. It's not the same. That's not what they're teaching us. They are not teaching us real history, not your history. And then they take a lot of what your origin stories are and made them into myths. So we lack an origin story. You know, it's paper genocide. It's a lot of paper genocide. Listen to what I'm telling y'all. It's paper genocide on so many levels. On so many levels. Y'all know it was like, it's so many names of tribal areas and people that's been erased. That's not a coincidence. The things that's really gonna help your life, they don't teach you. They don't teach you critical thinking. They don't teach you nothing about being mentally and emotionally well. They don't teach financial literacy. You know, like, one thing we all have to do is pay taxes and do all of that. They don't teach us nothing about that. Nothing. Nothing. This system does not teach us anything to better us. They only teach us and give us what's gonna make us good slaves. That's it. What's gonna make you a good slave. That's all it is. Yep, rewritten to be, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Feel about the Bible. Do you believe in it? I don't believe in it. It's a book of allegory, a lot of metaphysical books from other places and cultures it was taken from. You have to know how to read it. Metaphysically, it's very, very useful metaphysically if we get out of a religious space of reading it literal. For people that read it literal, it's a history book to them. I don't vibe with that. Because that's fictive, that's false. But as a means of metaphysical understanding, it's a powerful book. But it's not literal. It's not literal. So I don't really get into the arguments with who's the chosen people and all that and all that and all that. I don't really do that because it's just too many changes, too many translations, too many different names for different groups of people. Names like we call groups of people names that they didn't even call themselves, and it's our way of identifying, but we are using a specific system of identifying, well, who were the ones who named them this and said that they were this. So I don't get into all of that, but the metaphysical gems of it is there. It's absolutely there, but it's tricky. I don't really like to reference the Bible because you have a lot of people still spiritually traumatized by it. So they either get angry about it being a source, or you have some people who are still in the religious dogma phase and they take everything in it to be right and exact in a way. So it's a lot of things we could talk about that's in the Bible, and I'm gonna talk about these things on the website though. Like in the safe space, Know Thyself Universe, that's the place for that. Where we're gonna get into different stuff in the Bible, the astrology in the Bible, the Kundalini story in the Bible, like all of that. But I just don't want to do it here. Like I don't want to do it here. It's an anthology. It's the writings. I absolutely, I agree with that. Absolutely, I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that too. And then see, cause it's so tricky, man. It's so tricky because it's about the knowledge you've been introduced to. Some people ain't been introduced to everything, and I realize that's a big place of miscommunication for a lot of people. If I've been introduced to a certain piece of information or knowledge, and I speak from what I know, and you not caught up, you don't know what I know, you're gonna get lost, and you're not gonna be able to vibe or be able to connect with what I'm saying. So sometimes I feel like it's just better not to even talk about some things, Then that it's more than one God. There's only one, the source of all. Everything is everything. Everything comes from one source. We just have different names of determining what different energies are called, or what different way things are expressed. What we know fire to be is or what we call fire is element. That's God. I think that's how I see it. I'm not in that type of way. Yep, that's how it be though. You didn't open your Bible up for 3 weeks, and it's just like I'm not a person that, like, I don't read the Bible all the time, but because I grew up in the Bible, right? When I'm studying certain occult and metaphysical information, it makes sometimes that Bible reference is the glue, and it brings it together for me because that's what I grew up in as my foundation. So I can understand certain things because, oh, well, that's why they say this in the Bible about this, or maybe this is what this is referring to. So but that's again goes back to my metaphysical studies. Yep, the lower self cannot understand. Absolutely. It's just too high of a vibration. It just stuck. And see, it hurts us because we love our people, we love family, we love our friends, we love them, but they gotta be where they is. Yep, they're all bedtimes. Yeah, absolutely. Cut the low vibrational people out is do hard. They always want to come back, and they will come back because they are still representations of mirror aspects of yourself, teaching you things about yourself. So if everybody that everybody in your life is, a part of your story. So there may be doors that haven't closed that's still allowing that energy to walk back in. You're still working. This thing is always a constant thing. Every breath you take is always going to be you walking this journey, you getting back to self. So it never stops. It never stops. And even when sometimes new people come in our life, sometimes they mirror the old people because they just bring in the same lesson. So it's not really about cutting the people out, because you could go and be a Buddhist and sit, by yourself. It's still not going to allow you to resolve your inner conflicts. So a lot of what we learn has to do with our relationships. It's just about you having the balance to know when to cut your energy off. It's about you knowing how far you gotta go, how much you engage, how much you interact. Sometimes you gotta feed people with a long spoon. Sometimes you gotta deal with it at a distance, because sometimes we have ties and connections with people that's not so simple to do away with. You know, most of the time your family not on the level. Most of the time they not gonna be on the level. But like if it's somebody else in your family that's on the knowledge, you're lucky. You are lucky. See, part of my goal is to make this my family. It's gonna be in my DNA, in my this. I want this in my bloodline. I'm raising my kids with this knowledge in this way, so they can raise their kids and their knowledge in this way, and so forth and so forth. That's how I see. That's what that's the only way I see for me to make the greatest impact. And if along the way, whoever else I can share that with and inspire somebody else, then I've done that much more. In God we trust. Do I think they're referring to the one God or a separate powerful entity? I think it's both. I think it's dual meaning, because occult things always have multiple meanings. So I think the God they're referring to, I feel like it's the government. I feel like it's also that entity that they have created that we know that we call God, that feeds and festers off of the human suffering. But that's my Gnostic mind talking. Y'all familiar with Yaldabaoth and the demiurge? Who familiar with the demiurge? Because see, according to Gnosticism, which is where you get a lot of your Christian texts, according to that, the creator of this world, or the Christian God, is the demiurge, a lesser deity that created this world out of anger and out of being seen as an imperfection. That's Gnosticism. So whenever you see the story and you see that want to destroy the world, it's coming out of Gnosticism. It's coming out of Gnostic thought, because the physical is the degradation. It's like we degraded. It's like even being here, being present now is degraded. Like we're in a lower state. That this is the lowest state that we can be in. So and then I think too we have soul family. I think that's the tribe you find. Like when that's your soul family. Like your true tribe. Those you're truly connected to, those you truly come from. Or, your true family, from a soul level, from a spiritual level. Whether, some people look at it like we come from the different star systems. When you study the Dogon, we come from Sirius B. We come from the Sirius star system. That's just the same to say the Draconian star system. Like all of these are things that have been, the information. It's a lot to swallow through. It's really a lot to swallow through. But it's like I say, when it comes to quote unquote evil, it's a veil. It's a veil, because if we know there's the source, everything is everything. So we're just going to the other pole. That's just the opposite pole. It's just a different utilization of energy. So every time, that's why black, everything about black is bad. That's why black magic, black people, black as a status, everything black is bad. Black market. That's why. Because it's the programming, is the, and it really has to do with divine feminine. It really has to do with that feminine, that strong feminine energy. And it's crazy how much we have gender wars amongst our people. It's really wild. Because it has to do with that energy, because that the divine feminine is destructive. It's destruction, chaos. You the chaos people. You see Justice League when Cyborg, the child of the chaos, child of chaos, and he not knowing if he was gonna be able to control himself because you house the chaos. That's what the science is. See, it's like they took the soul, the science of the soul, and made everything about the science of the soul bad. That's all it is. The science of the soul. That's it. That's all it is. Because it has to do with desires and all so many things. That's why you can't get overcome by the darkness. It's all like it's all twist and turned up, man. Like they really flipped it a lot. A lot of this has been flipped. That's why I say it's pure mockery. It's mockery. More than anything, it is mockery. It is mockery. It is taking your stuff and doing all this stuff and dressing up all these faces on it and looking at it like that is pure mockery. That's what it is. It's nothing more, nothing less. Nothing more, nothing less. Study symbolism. To understand the science of the soul, study symbolism. Study everything hidden. Study Osiris. Study everything pertaining to Osiris and the Osiris mystery and having to do with the underworld. All of that. Because it's a resurrection of the soul. Osiris is the story about the resurrection of the soul. And see, that was kind of slick, and with Lazarus in the Bible, man, it's really, man, it's a cold game when you just sit back and look at it, because it's intricate. It's so intricate. It's like, man, it's very, very intricate. But when you really get into the occult, I promise you have to go there. You have to go there. But a lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are afraid. Their programming is deep. Like, it's so deep, even like they make, in some circles, sage and crystals is evil. So imagine how it is in some people's mind to literally study what's quote unquote demonic. Even though demon is nothing but referring to a inner energy within yourself. Your own dark genius. It's your own dark genius. But see, they trick you to scare you with it. They trick you and scare you with it, though. Like, it's a game, man. Yes, they're really only afraid of themselves. That's it. They just tricking you into being afraid of your own self. And that's the truth. Literally. So it's like you're afraid. So what's there for you, like the true you, what's in you, don't want to tap in. Don't want to tap in. And a lot of the trick is in the language. That's the box. People talking about crystal sage card. I don't know anything about get tired of seeing. Is it really dark? It's not dark. Well, think about dark. All dark is referring to is what you can't see. See, these are just adults that are afraid of the dark. It's just what you can't see. But think about what you can't see. You can't see your thoughts. You cannot see thoughts, but you know you have thoughts. You can't see your feelings. You can't see your emotions, but you know that they're there. You can't see your DNA, but you know that it's there. See, some things are more acceptable because they have scientific meaning and such like that behind it. But it's just science just hasn't caught up to the mystery yet. So part of dark science has to do with manipulation of your mind. Because if you don't have control over your mind, somebody who knows how to will control your mind. If you don't know how to have control over your emotions, people can know how to pull your strings and control you. That's all dark is. That's all it is. Think about a baby. A baby is created in darkness. There's a literal big bang that goes on inside you that create a whole life in there. It's dark inside your body. That's darkness. That's pure darkness. So, like I said, but they programmed us to look at dark a certain way, to look at it a certain way. So our mind automatically, and it's so you can shut off things because your belief controls your reality. Your mind controls it. So if you believe these things bad, your brain, your mind automatically filters all this shit out for you. You take away so many possibilities. That's why you're limited. That's what people mean when they say religion limits you, because you take away so many possibilities. Because everything is bad except what they've been told you is bad. And they just trying to control your mind. Because that's where the power is. If you take control of your mind, you got all the power you need in the whole world. If you can master yourself, if you can conquer yourself, you have everything that you'll ever need. Think about it. Somebody has, like, even when you look at these artists, that's why they use these artists. These artists are creating from out of themselves. They are limitless gold mines. So I'm gonna control their mind. And when I control them, all of these millions of people, all of these people that they influence, I'm gonna control them too. It's a curse for them. It's a curse for them. Them celebrities. It's not luxury. That's an illusion. It is a curse for them. They have to bear the responsibility of that. It's all about your mind. So when they control your mind, they control your world. So like I say, hate is love. If you hate something and you spend all day talking about it, that is the same thing as love. We're talking about energy. You done gave it the same amount of energy that you would give something talking about that you love. You could have just talked about something you love and gave it that energy. Instead, you chose to focus on something you don't like, which is at the same time a lower vibration. You should be drained as hell. Difference in between seeing spirit and soul, explaining more in books. Well, okay, that's a good question. Spirit and soul. Everything has spirit. Everything that moves has spirit, and it's animal, like, things that move. So everything has spirit. Soul is referring to of the original matter. It's referring to of the origin, like what makes up the universe, what created the universe is what makes up the soul. It is said that not everybody has a soul, meaning not everybody is encompassed of this. It has a strong connection to water. When people talk about dreaming, astral traveling, soul traveling, it's a soul connection. It's a soul thing. Now, a lot of us, we automatically want to equate melanin to soul, but that is not always true. So I say that to say, don't always think that, because all skin folk ain't kinfolk. I say that to say that. But, and at the same time, you have to understand that some people with soul is people that ain't us black people either. We have to understand that too. Because we are channels, like the way the blood is about, because it's bloodline. That's why you really have to discern people as you meet them, yo. Discern accordingly. Move accordingly. Because people come in everything. So don't ever fall for that okie doke. But a strong sense of determining soul, like compassion. See, that's why a lot of people do say, they feel like, you know, white people don't have no soul, because what they're referring to is the collective colonization done by Europeans. That's what they're known for. They're known for that. And it's like that, like, it's the lack of a compassion, because that ability to connect comes from soul. That's why when they talk about soul music, people that got music for the soul, it don't matter what race, ethnicity people is, they still connect with the music, because music is a soul. It comes from the soul. Because we're talking about rhythm, the law of rhythm in the universe. Remember, it's a rhythm. So when you're talking about soul, that's what it's referring to in terms of soul. Everybody can't deeply connect. It's, you have to discern. But everybody and everything, all animals and everything have a spirit. Master teachers, Bobby Him and Secret from the, I love them. I love them. I love them. People can attack you, soul, spirit, or harm you, or take away your life. I do believe that it can happen if you are if you are on it, only if it can happen, but most of the time it's because people don't know who they are. They don't know who they are. They don't know what they are like. If y'all seen Lock and Key on Netflix, the whole show is about, it's a family. They call it the Lock family. They have it called a Lock house. And only people in their family, they have these keys that can do certain things. It can send them into other worlds. They can look like other people. They can, what can them keys do, babe? It can do all type of things. Even some of them can even make keys. Think about keys, right? Keys open doors. Okay? Now, yeah, one could make you real strong. They could go back in time. So, but the thing about it was, only they could have the keys. Only a lock could have the keys. And the only way somebody else could get the key is if they gave them the key. They couldn't take the key from them. You understand? They couldn't kill them and get the key. They would have to give them the key. So the only way, you have to give it away, yo. You have to give it away. You have to give it away. And that only happened because most people do not know. That's because the world upside down. That's because we be basing our value on money. Listen to what I'm telling you. This is why these people get so hooked, y'all. I'm telling y'all, poverty is traumatizing. And people be stuck in their root level. They be stuck and they survive because it puts you in overdrive. And some people come from where some people come from, they don't want to go back. They don't want to go back. They don't want to go back, man. They don't want to go back to it, feeling like there's a lack of love. There's a lack of resources. Like they don't want to go back, yo. They don't want to go back. So it's a cooperation, man. It takes cooperation. It go both ways. Can't nobody take nothing from you that you don't give away, yo. Listen to what I'm telling you. Listen to what I'm telling you. Now, there could be unfair advantages. There can be dangers present where people can do things and put you under influence to guide you and to try and influence you to do the wrong things. That's why you have to practice discernment. That's why you have to discern who and what you're dealing with. Now, sometimes people are up on their game and they know how to deceive, and they can deceive well. Depending on how high up that ladder you go, you're going to meet better and better and better deceivers. I don't care what world you're in. I don't care if it's entertainment. I don't care if you're in the corporate world. I don't care where you are. The higher up you go, the more powerful people are, and the more aware people are of that power. And the more people, most of the time, don't want to let go of their power. So you're gonna meet better and better deceivers. You're gonna meet better and better liars. You're gonna meet better and better cheats. So that's what I'm saying. The lesson is the lesson. You're not gonna stop learning. You're not gonna stop learning. You got lessons in trust. You're gonna elevate. You're gonna keep going. It's gonna come a point in time you're gonna meet even somebody that's even better at lying, even better at deceiving. Can you trust yourself to pick up on that when you see that? Do you have enough value in yourself to walk away when you know something ain't right? Because a lot of people don't have the inner strength to do that. They can't walk away. They don't have the strength to walk away. And they fall. They fall. Powerful people know this. Powerful people know this, and they utilize this to the maximum of their ability. Come, baby. So what about people that are accustomed to that toxic lifestyle and they have no other way? Some people, they just end up embracing it, and that's where, you know, they just end up living in the life. You know, they just live it to that extreme though. That's just living still in that extreme. And it comes with its consequences. You know, it comes with its consequences. Everything has its consequences. Everything. No matter what you do, even if you want to do straight good, because still that's going to put you out of balance. Because sometimes you ain't supposed to do good for somebody. And you got to know when that's the case. See, you can't let yourself get in the way that because you out of balance of needing to do good, needing to do more, put you in the way of somebody that you ain't supposed to do good for. Then you end up in a bad situation trying to do good. You know why? Because it's about balance. You won't support, it ain't about you doing good. It's about you being balanced. The road to hell is paved with good intention. You doing good trying to do something for somebody. Now you in a bad spot. Because you ain't trust yourself. Or you didn't have enough in your own value to walk away from it. Knowing you gotta trust them red flags. You gotta trust them red flags, man. I know, because we fall for the idealism. We fall for what we want to happen, what we want to be. But you can't be naive. That's that discernment. That's that some of us gotta keep on going through them lessons. For some of us, it's way harder, man. For some of us, we go through, you know, we have different lessons. We have different lessons. I'm gonna save this live. I got y'all. I'm gonna post this one. But because that's the case. Like, this is a dual reality. It's good and bad, man. It's good and bad. It's supposed to be good and bad. It's necessary for your growth. This is a playing ground. Don't forget that this is a playing ground. You are here to learn. This is a classroom. You are here to learn. But you getting caught up and distracted. You getting mad, blowing your life up because they hurt your feelings. You blowing your life up because they hurt your feelings, not even thinking about the fact of, you know, this shit all ain't nothing but what it is anyway. It ain't nothing but a learning ground. It ain't nothing. It's just an experience. See, it's different depending on how you are able to perceive your reality. That's where the power lies. You're not God because you can just create and do things out of thin air. You God because you control how you perceive your reality. That's how you God. You God because you control how you react to this shit. You God because at the end of the day, you realize it's your responsibility. Hello, sound. Can y'all hear me? Y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me now? Let me know. Let me know. Oh man, hold on. I think I died. I think my mic died. Can you hear me, baby? Yeah, I think it's dying. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Can y'all hear me? Okay. Okay. I think my mic died. Yeah. So, that's the split. That's why they split us. I'm telling you, that's why they split us. Now we have to go back to source. We can't keep falling for that. This. No, we have to go back to source. We have to go back to what it is, because we keep taking the indoctrinated way when that was not our way. That's not who we are. Yeah, but you God, because you control what you think. You have the power to perceive your reality based on your own thoughts, based on how you choose to perceive. You can change it. That's the power. That's what makes you God. It's not about you. I want $1,000,000. It's not about that, because you can obtain $1,000,000 if you truly sat down and focused. You can get $1,000,000 if you sat down and focused. If that's what you really want, if you really want to do it, you can do it. You absolutely can do it. You absolutely could do it. But see, you gotta focus. That's what the sun represented in ancient Egypt in the hieroglyphs. They weren't just out worshiping the sun, man. They understood that what the sun represented in nature, it gave everything life. But you have a sun within you. There's an inner sun within you. There's a power center within you. You can give life to whatever you choose. That's your will. Your inner fire, your solar sun, your solar plexus, that's your willpower center. So we can look at the chart, we can look at our astrology chart, and we can see where we can have issues that can inflict our will. Because when you have certain aspects, if you got a sun square, if Saturn squaring your sun, then you're gonna have authoritative issues. You're gonna have issues you're gonna have to deal with some things and become mature before you even be able to tap into that willpower energy. You got lessons to learn first. That's what your chart is. It's a map. It's a map. We don't look to astrology for just basic horoscope. We look to it to transform, to transmute ourselves. It's a code to your own biological, your own astrologic makeup. How can you tap in? Look, this is what's holding you back right here. You see this aspect right here, this square, this is causing you to have a conflict with, this and this right here. That's what it's for. Oh shit. The archons. See, you can't be talking like that. See, when you talk like that, see that right there, that's a slippery slope, man. It's a slippery slope, because that's their energy. They house their energy. They take a lot of psychic energy, a lot of spiritual ability and psychic ability is caught up in mental illness, bro. A lot of it. A lot of it. Yeah, strong psychic energy. This world doesn't know how to use their energy. This world don't know how to use it. See, in the old world, you probably would have been like a wizard or some shit. But this world don't know how to use it. It don't know what you're capable of. You can look up on any astrology site and get your chart. You need your birthday, where you were born, and the time that you were born. And they'll give you a chart. Some of these websites, excuse me, some of them give interpretations. I recommend that you study it yourself, so that way that you can know like what it is, because you need to know for you, because what it do, it really activate stuff in your ancient DNA. They say we got like 90 something% of junk DNA. I think that's just ancient DNA. That's just DNA that they don't know, they can't understand. And that's a whole lot of genetic information that you don't know nothing about, but it activates. So because symbols, your subconscious remembers symbols, it speaks through symbols. So when you look and you see the little hieroglyphs of Aries looking like this, it has a specific meaning to your mind. That energy has manifested a specific way in your life. So when you look at your chart and you have certain things in certain places, you notice. That's my approach in the class. If you in the astrology class, right? That's my approach with the class, and I'm gonna share some stuff with the class because we still haven't got really like deep into that part yet. We just still really going over all of the little basic stuff. We up to elements. If you have the access to the class, the zodiac upload should be up by Wednesday, and that's gonna be the whole. We're gonna look at all the zodiac signs individually. So elements is up. If you haven't seen the elements, the introduction and the for the zodiac for astrology and shadow work is available. Also, how to get your chart, and then the elements, and next the zodiac and the planets. Those are gonna be major. But anyway, but yes, that's what, even numerology, you do the same thing with numerology. You know what I'm saying? Like when they go by in the hospital, that's what they go by, right, in your birth chart. I don't know if they still do that, but when you're born, a lot of times on the birth record, it has the time of birth. But I'm noticing more recently when I've had people to try to look that up, they may not have it on the birth certificates that they give out. You may have to get like a copy of the live birth. Like you might have to go to the county that you were born in to get the record, the actual time. Some people just fortunate they parents be remembering. Some people be remembering like that, but you need the time to be specific to really get, because you can really do the work, because you'll see it all up there. You can go on astro.com. They're pretty straight. On Cafe Astrology, if you just want to get they give good free information, I guess, but like I say, you have to internalize it, because you have to figure out what, like, everything the sun is for you, how fire element is for you. If you want to go on the class, if you want to get in the class, the link is in my bio, and you scroll down, it says shadow work and astrology, and then there's shadow work and numerology, but the shadow work and astrology class is there and available. So that's how you can get in the class. When you sign up, you'll receive an email for your login information. If you have any questions about anything, just let me know. Also, when the membership starts, I want to start the membership next week, but it may not be until October. That's why I'm not really talking about it a lot. But when the membership starts, if you're in the class, you automatically gonna get access to the membership. It gives you your sign, astroseek.com. Now, sidereal, tropical, the way I look at energy though, I can look at both my charts, and I honestly tell people to go with what they most comfortable, because I can look at both of them, and the way my mind works for astrology, like the way I look at energy, it makes sense for me both ways, which probably sounds weird to some people. But I'm just used to, I just pretty much go with, the tropical. Let me see what we got. They don't want to give. They don't want to give out the time. It's weird. I think they picking on because they know what's up and they know what we're getting into. They do. You a Sag, Sun, Mars, Mercury, Venus, and rising. Oh my goodness, a lot of fire. Wow, man, all that fire energy. You live in a fantasy, man. You live in a fantasy world, bro. That's a lot of, like, everything's a myth, bro. Like stuff is gigantic in your world, man. Like you have a lot of Sag energy, a lot, and with a Libra moon, so you got an air moon, so you can be intellectualizing your feelings, and so you probably really don't like rock, might not like rocking the boat, but I don't know, you pretty passionate. All that fire, man. You got a lot of fire. You got a lot of fire in your chart. But see, I have a strong Sagittarius energy. Like my Saturn is massive in my chart. Because I have Saturn in Sag. And my midhaven is Sag. And I have so many Saturn aspects. It's been tough. It's been some tough lessons that I've had to learn. They've been hard for me. I don't even think it's about the lesson itself, like the experience being hard. It's just about what you yourself just getting through it, being who you are, like your psyche. You know what I'm saying? It just makes it hard. You know, it just makes it hard. Astro Matrix is a decent app. You can switch from Vedic to Western. Okay, that's cool. I'm gonna definitely look at it. Astro Matrix. I be doing that. I like to switch, so I like ones that have both of them. I appreciate that resource. Thanks for that, Reeves. Cancer, Taurus, Rising. Okay, one-on-one video. I do when I do my one-on-ones. Most of the time I do them over the phone, but I do have a video option where we can do connect on Zoom. So when we do one-on-ones, I did one today actually. When we do one-on-ones, a one-on-one is via phone or it's either Zoom connection. So that's just a one-on-one direct individual. What you need to address. Some people like to do these. They just want to get really deep into some heavy spiritual occult information. Some people genuinely want a spiritual reading. Some people want more of what can I say? Like they may just be dealing with a specific situation at the time. You know, depending on things like that. But it's really just a means for people to get one-on-one time with me because I can get busy between doing energy reports, the classes, and you know we got 4 kids, so so it can get kind of hectic. So you know I have to be very structured when it does come to my time, or else I can burn myself out. So that's my way of balancing myself. You know, we can't let ourselves we can't get ahead of ourselves. Even when we're doing good, we can't get ahead of ourselves because we burn ourselves out, man. And then when we burn ourselves out, we can undo all the good we done did. We can undo all that shit because we can end up snapping out in that one moment, like on some Will Smith. Like you have to, you gotta maintain a balance, yo. You have to maintain a balance, so you can't suppress everything you thinking is bad or you know whatever, because it eventually is gonna come out. Eventually, it's gonna come out. Right? Confrontation doesn't mean fighting. You know, you have a great sense of diplomacy. You have a way of negotiating though that can be peaceful. You have a strong sense of peaceful resolve, but you don't feel like you gotta avoid being one way or the other, because that can aggravate people more when you sit on the fence. And Libra energy have a issue with sitting on the fence when it comes to things. So you know that's the thing when it comes to that Libra energy, and it's so big on balance. You know, like that comfort. Because rock when you rock the boat, you know, a lot of times it brings friction. So that's why your opposing energy is that Aries, and they known for being confrontational, being selfish. But sometimes as a Libra, what you have to know is when we're looking at our chart, sometimes we have to look at the opposite energy so that we can impose our own balance. You know, like we have to know how to be balanced sometimes. We have to know how to bring that into play ourselves. So there's a time when Libra has to tap into that other side, which is its shadow self, which is more airy in nature, and be for self. You don't want to have to wait until you're back against the wall and you ain't got a choice, because then it's gonna be like, well, damn, what happened? Like I say, Will Smith. So you know, you just kind of want to, you want to kind of do it that way. How do zodiac signs play a part in sociology? Well, hold on real quick, bro. Hold on. Let me look at something for you. Um, how does zodiac play a part in sociology? Well, when we look at sociology is like human relations, right? So it's great in terms of relating to people, understanding why people miscommunicate, why people, have problems in their relationships, because astrology can help you understand people's psyche. It's really an ancient way of being able to interpret people's psyche, but you can't do this with just a sun sign. So I think that's the problem. I think the problem is you can't do it with just a sun sign. You have to have the complete profile, because you being deceived if you go by just the sun sign. Because some people do not do the common, they're not the common qualities of their sun sign, and that's still a normal thing. So that's why some people are bothered when people bring up astrology as a means of determining how you deal with people, and it's because that generalization, and I partly blame this capitalistic society that we are in, because it makes it just an easy means of becoming a dogma for people in the same fashion as a religion, and people can become dependent on it, and they can be, so that's my sense. So if energy plays a part in human thinking, can we say the future can be told? It's a that's the means of, it's also a connection to mathematics. And when you're looking at statistics, and when you're looking at, the spiral of Fibonacci, and you're looking at all of that, has that connection. Because if there's certain particular patterns, if a person or if something is following a particular pattern, it is very safe to predict the outcome. It's not definitive. That's what it means by it's not in stone, but you can have a strong sense of predicting what the outcome is. I'm gonna tell you, have y'all seen Psych? It's just like Psych. Dude was not a psychic, but he had such masterful observatory skills, and he was able to have such a photographic memory that he was able to recall and focus on the smallest of things, that was able to foretell of patterns or certain things that would lead to a certain outcome. It's math. It's math. I call it the math of God. It's math. It's math. I appreciate you, brother. You pushing me to think in this live got me, but yes, that's a very excellent way of looking at it. We're looking at patterns because we're looking at habits. That's just like if you see somebody and they drink every day, and man, they drinking every day all the time. This is not healthy. That's gonna lead to a certain outcome. You understand what I'm saying? Unless you are able to have some sort of change. So understand, when people look at cars, when they look at all these are the same thing. This is just the old way that they perceived it. This very energy. So if we looking at that situation, you like, eventually, man, something gonna happen that's gonna bring all this to a. That thing that happens is called the tower moment. That's the tower moment in astrology. That's what that moment is. That's when there's a certain transit that's going on, where a certain planet comes into a certain house and brings a certain energetic focus on a certain part of your life. It's the same thing, y'all. I'm just trying to make the connections. This is just the way that they spoke on it in those times. They just was in a time where it was about storytelling, because they understood the way the mind could grasp something so complex is to put it in a story. It's the power of myth. So when I say your history is in the myth, that's what I'm referring to, because it has been mythologized. It's been mythologized in a way. This book right here, Joseph Campbell, wrote about this. This is the dude who helped George Lucas write Star Wars. He wrote Star Wars off of mythical structure, off of archetypes. That's all zodiac signs are, archetypes. If you study Carl Jung in psychology, he has archetypes. These are just different names going across different realms of thought. Because, I don't want to deal with them, so I'm going to call it something else. Y'all never did it before? You seen something where somebody do something and it's called something. And somebody pretty much want to do the same thing, but they don't want to call it the same thing. They call it something else. It's that exact same concept. It's a means of a separation. But you eventually, over time, you get so separated, you forgot that you had the same source. You forgot it came from the same ancestor. You forgot it came from the same place, because it gets so misconstrued. It gets so chopped up along the way. It gets so chopped up. So when you look at Star Wars, that's nothing but ancient Kemet. Everybody there is you got Isis, Haru, Set. Everybody is all them same. They the same. They follow the same thing. All your great stories follow the same guideline. You look at the Lion King. The Lion King is the same thing. It's the exact Haru story, exact down to the T. There's nothing new being created. It's your same story just retold back to you. Why you love Lion King so much? Because it's your story. Simba, remember who you are. The kings and the stars. Yo, it's your story. But it's the only way to really give it back to you. But it's the greatest story ever told. But it's a means of a mind control, make connections on why young people are influenced into being gang members. Because of the disconnect. I tell people all the time, people in gangs, they just want to be a part of something. They lack nurturing at home, honestly. And it don't mean that they have a broken home. It don't mean that their parents ain't present. They're not being nurtured. They're not being shown that they are accepted for who they are. So they gravitate to what's going to accept them. That's why they end up there. They want to be accepted. It ain't hard to me to understand. But I think it comes to terms with, I'm also a person who don't have a problem with confronting when I'm doing something that's messed up or confronting needing to change. I'm not a person that fear that darkness. In society, especially our culture, especially our people, we so traumatized, we don't want to deal with nothing that deals with us facing our shadow. We don't want to deal with none of that stuff. We just want to put everything off on everything. Media ad influences them to a degree. To a degree, it's like a loop. To a loop though, it's like, but the media is the most active devil in society that I would say it is. It's the media, because the media has the perception of the people, regardless of whether we like it or not. People's perceptions are based on what they see on TV. That's why Indian is a certain way in your mind when a person say Indian. When a person say, all these things come from TV images, comes from even not just TV, comes from radio programming, what we hear, all these things are perceived through the media. These are not direct relations with us. So we got people all the way in Korea who think Black American people are just this right here because this is the only way we are perceived. And so unless somebody truly wants to know and truly wants to dig, so we are only perceived this particular type of way. So it's roles. It's like the media makes people play particular roles. That's why they can make you love who they want you to love and hate who they want you to hate. And a lot of times, a lot of people who might be really fighting for something good, the media makes it so the public hates them because they don't understand what they do. Malcolm told us this. It's amazing all the things that Malcolm told us back then that's still relevant today. It's not a coincidence that we don't have leaders like Malcolm and Martin no more. That's not a coincidence. See, wars change over time. Wars change over time. It's really, really more mental now. They don't have to do this thing physically no more. They don't have to physically do that no more because we mentally do it. That's the whole point of just having our minds. You don't have to make the people do anything. You control their minds. It's like puppets on a string. And so the media release certain images, release certain things, because they control what we seeing and what's in the media circuit every day. They control this, and all they do is get paid off of it. Because, see, for them, it's just about the money anyway. They don't really care. You talking about soulless people who really drive this thing. They don't really care about the nature of no people. It's about just getting money. That's all this is really all about. So who cares about that? They don't really care about that. We have to stop assuming that they do care, because they don't, because this is a numbers game. This is all about money. They don't really care about what you really feeling, but if it get them some ratings, you can come talk about it, but nothing's gonna change. Is anything changed? Nothing's gonna change. So where's the action that brings on the change? Because that's just gaslighting in my book. You just want me to come on here just talk just so you can talk down on my reality and nothing's gonna change. What's the point in that loop? What's the point in that loop? I don't vibe with that loop. That's crazy to me. Because we're going to get the same results. It comes a point in time you have to stop expecting your enemy to do right by you. You have to expect. Now that's unless we're gonna get hip and get into our science, unless unless we're gonna do that. But I don't think we're really ready for that. I don't think we're really ready to really get into the dark science. Cause see, it'd be amazing me sometimes that we will look into a cult, but we'll only look into a cult to validify something that we think the elite is doing. But we don't really look into it to use it for what it's for. It's to transform. Like, it gives you power. Like, we can build our own power up with this. Why don't we do that? But instead, we're still seeking to be validated by the oppressors. That because that's an inner thing, we still got a lot of work that we have to do. We still have a lot of work that we have to do on ourselves. And I honestly, the way that we are today, it just feels like we have way less of an identity than we had in the 50s and 60s. It feels like we lack way more of an identity today than we did back then. And Martin knew that. That's why he said we integrating in a burning house, because now all we want to do is just be more European. Now we seek even more European validation. We were supposed to build for ourselves and give to ourselves and build up ourselves. Who's going to employ us if we don't employ us? But instead, we are going to be employed by them. We are seeking out in the other. How? That's more detrimental to us in a sense of our identity. We can maintain our identity and still be amongst our population. That has always happened. See, that's gaslighting when it gets to a point where let us just do our thing. It's like, oh, you want to be separate? Well, it's a lot of cultures out here that's separate. Y'all don't say that to them people up there. What's them people? What's them people, man? Why I can't think? They don't drive cars. They still be on the horse and boogie. You don't say that to them. But we the ones. We the slave ones. We the bottom ones. We the most materialistic. So we buying the most things that we don't need, stimulating the economy. We're buying so many things because we're trying to fill a hole up because we're not doing the work. We're just the Amish people. Thank y'all, the Amish people. I don't know why that escaped my mind. The Amish people. They don't bother them people. People can have their own communities. You can go to Koreatown. You can go to Chinatown. You feel me? But our shit is just the hood. You see, we don't have no structure. Why can't we get some structure? It's because everybody want us to buy what they had to offer. Everybody want us to not have no belief in ourselves and not none of that, so we can go with everybody else and need to be validated. Think about it. Even when you look at the entertainers, who are the jewelers? Who are the jewelers that they're going to see? Let me chill, man. Let me chill. But it's real though. It's real though. You gotta think about it. You gotta think about it. Like this really people hook because of the material, and it's crazy because when you really spiritual, when you really get into the material, it's not gonna help you in terms of spiritual. Like it's not. It means nothing. That's why so many of them want to keep on living anyway. But it means nothing. Why equate your value to it? Why base your value on it? That's a program to make you food, to make you an easy mark. That's why I be telling people it make you a mark. You're a mark. You easy access for energy. Stop making yourself so accessible because they eating off of you. That's what they do. They be eating off us. And the ones who want to stand on something, they going to do any and everything to push, to tear them down. And sometimes you got to be careful though. Because like right now, like I don't know why the algorithm is pushing my videos. I don't know. I don't know why. It's like just they was like, all right, we're going to fuck with you now. I don't know. So it is what it is though. It is what it is though. But that TV, the media, if there is a devil, that is the most prominent one in this world. It's the media. It's absolutely the media. Because everybody is tricked with their eyes and what they see on that TV. Everybody. That's how they tricked us into our identity. That's why everybody believe in. See, man, I gotta chill, man. I gotta chill, cause see, they'll use a lot of our own stuff against us, yo. Even in our own sense of identity, like rewriting history. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yep, they have been using propaganda since the beginning of time. What's up, Joe? Joe 91. Oh, okay, what's up? Yeah, you usually do be on the lives. I kind of been on for a little minute. I haven't been on it like a week, so I was like, let me get on real quick and just do some building because I haven't done that in a little while. Yep, yep. Greek goddess of deception, manipulation. There you go. Absolutely. That's what it is. That's why it's called a media. They tell us all the time. They literally are telling us. And what made Tyler Perry popular? How Tyler Perry get on? Madea. Madea. Bro became a media mogul. Bro became a media mogul off of that feminine energy. So you know what it is now. We just, we just can't be fooled by the deception, that's all. Because they do it. And a lot of times I laugh at it, because, and I do that, sometimes we laugh to keep from crying. But it's a means of, just trying to stay in that balance. Because, like they say, the same thing make you laugh or make you cry. And that's the truth. So it's an attachment thing. It's all in what you attach to. Yep. That's just yep. So they in control of the image. So if they put this image, and you think about it, a lot of people just put screens in front of their kids, and it ain't just the TV now. It's the phones. It's the phones now. I can't imagine growing up in school with a phone, with a cell phone. I couldn't imagine that, yo. I couldn't imagine that type of access to the world. It is. Well, for some people, because see, it's a lot of people who just watch the news all the time. It's some people who they feel like, well, I don't watch, this other stuff, but they faithfully watch the news, and they be buying into everything they be saying. They be buying into everything they be saying. Do you think we can get rich and change things if we trademark gang names? But somebody's already doing it. I'm not gonna front. I don't know if I should say this, but I think that the gangs is already infiltrated though. I think that the gangs were supposed to be like, if you look at it, look at how our people function. We're naturally tribal anyway. We're naturally tribal people. So when you look at the Black Panthers, how that was started, how that came about, and then you have the gangs. I think they were purposely infiltrated to take the direction that they are in, as far as with the crime and the drugs, to tame the warrior element of our people. Because I think a lot of our people are warrior people. Like, we've been fighting for a long time, especially when we talk about like indigenous people, because they erased their history. Their history has been erased. But we have a strong warrior sense in our people. So that energy has to be directed. And it's naturally a rebellious energy. So it's naturally going to rebel against the system. So if you create something for that energy and direct it how you want it to, you don't have to worry about it rising up in a sense of going against you. It's like what dude said that created the FB, that created the, what you call it, the Black Messiah. It's just like that in the same sense. That's why they've infiltrated hip hop, and that's why they infiltrated the gangs. I feel like if we look at Tupac, he was the example of that, because Tupac had the advantage of coming up or being raised out of the Panthers. So he naturally was raised by rebels, knowing how to rebel. But these people also failed. They went through a lot of things. A lot of them went to prison. A lot of them went to jail. A lot of them got killed. A lot of them were set up. A lot of them dealt with the system and the underhandedness of the system directly and going against it. And I think that he wanted to take the music, the hip hop route, to work his way around it to accumulate power in the same way. And of course, hip hop is heavily infused with gang culture. So I think there's just a lot of infiltration, and we can't generalize too much. See, some people will ask the question that Tupac was an agent. I don't think he was an agent. Do I think he did things that harmed himself and the community? Yes. Do I think he did that with intention? No. I think that because of the way this system is structured and how much they know about us and how well they can manipulate the system, they was just able to take so many things to use against Tupac, just like they use against any and everybody else who rise. See, when it comes to celebrities, it's not about the fame. What you study, right? As us as students, as us as initiates, what we study about them is we study what they tapped into and how they magnified their energy. Because everything about you, you literally, like, you are always creating. So what can manifest out of your creation is limitless. So these artists, they are in a place of where they have manifested their creation to bring them a lot of, money, resources, no, whatever you want to call it, you know what I'm saying, whatever you want to call it. So it's an inner thing. The thing is, these people don't know who they are, what they are. So they get into this lifestyle and they get all these things, and it's just so easy to corrupt these people. But I don't think that Tupac was an agent. I just think that his energy was so monumental. I'm 35 and I look at Tupac interviews today, and the way he was thinking and talking back then, I resonate with right now. So, and and I remember growing up being a young child, I listened to hip hop because of Tupac. Keep your head up. So the power that he had in his reach of them kids, of us at that age. So imagine who that is for today. Imagine that energy today and how they are using that energy today. Look at your NBA young boys today. Look at your Lil Durks today. And look at how they have a hold on these kids' minds. But these people are wrapped up in their own mess. See, we look at them and deify them because they have some fame, because they have some money, but they no different than you. They struggling with the same shit that you struggle with. They struggling with the same insecurity you struggling with. It's just more magnified, and it's way more things at stake for these people, yo. These people be having hundreds of people they taking care of too. It's a intricate web, and it's not simple. Things are not that black and white, and I feel like he just got caught up in a lot of things. That Gemini nature, it was easy for him to be both people. He naturally was both people. And when you look, and I really studied Tupac at one period of time. Tupac studied a lot of occult stuff. Tupac read the Kabbalah. Tupac was very well aware of a lot of things, and not to mention just growing up under Panthers. Y'all realize his mom got herself out of her own case when she was pregnant with him. She represented herself. Like, it's a lot of things. And so a lot of people would look at it and be like, oh, bro was an agent. Maybe not. Maybe bro was chosen. Maybe he just knew who he was. But that be a fathom to us. It's way easier for us to accept that we under some other something than we just genuinely know who we are. Yeah, Prodigy was a student of Dr. York. Prodigy amongst a lot of people was students of Dr. York. Jay-Z was a student of Dr. York. early. He knew this stuff early. 21 Savage was in his camp as a kid. Like, this is like, and see, Dr. York was very well aware. Dr. York, you look at I studied Dr. York. Because I looked at, like, dang, he went through every religion, he went through every organization, he went through everything. He went through all of it. At some point in time, he eventually ended up coming to something, because there was a point where he talked against Comedicism. There was a point he talked against, Freemason knowledge, and then there's the point where he get into Comedicism. There's the point where he got into speaking about Freemasonry. So the more you know, so what I'm saying is, these people who really know, you can't get fooled by what side they on. It's the same thing. They know the same. It just depends on what you're willing to be about, how your approach is to the system. Because these bishops know, they know the truth. They know metaphysics. They know this stuff. They know it too. How much influence music has on us. That's true. But that goes back to that's that law of rhythm. That goes back to, that connection. Trying to be parents, but imagine it being your upbringing. Right. Imagine the principles of the Black Panthers, like, really being raised in it. Like, really being raised in it. It's just Pac had to survive, man. And he got shot. Let me tell you something. Getting shot is traumatizing. You get PTSD. You get all type of things when you get shot. And then the people around you betraying you. See, Geminis have a lot of lessons around loyalty. They have a lot of lessons around loyalty. Oh yeah, we did talk about the soul music earlier. I'm definitely gonna save this live. I'm definitely gonna post this live. Any solutions to the problems you acknowledge? First, bro, we gotta work on ourselves. Like, it all starts within first. Like, because no matter what you do on the outside, even if we were to, like, that's why none of these groups can get together. That's why none of these, your Hebrew Israelites, that's why nobody can't come together, because everybody jerking off to information. Ain't nobody really taking knowledge and healing. Nobody's really doing that work on the inside. I'm not gonna say everybody, but it's a lot of people that's not doing that. I don't care if you gotta go see a therapist. You gotta do something to work on your inner self. Otherwise, you jerking, you playing. Because what's the you? You just want to be smarter than somebody else, because you have to take that within yourself. That's what it's for. It's a key. It's not, it's not an adornment. It ain't nothing to, it's not that. And that's hard though. That's hard. That's hard for a lot of people. So a lot of people can't do that work and face themselves, because if we can do that and we can eliminate that, get that out of the way, we can do the work and know, like, look, we don't all have to agree. We ain't got to be at the same place spiritually, right? But we can come together in the terms of, let's all do this. It just takes so much of that, and it takes the cooperation of the people, and all of these things honestly just divide. And if people not doing the work, you have to do enough work to get to the point where you see it's connected. You got to dig deep enough where you see all the roots are connected. And most people don't go that far. Like, they don't go as far enough to see, like, man, all them religions is the same. Don't nobody care. You choose the one you want to choose. At the end of the day, it just need to be helping you understand that what you seeking is really just within yourself, and you just got to be the best version of you. But if people ain't gonna really get there, then they're not really gonna get there. And Sister Elijah Muhammad said our unit is more powerful than an atomic bomb. Absolutely. And at the same time, it's a lot of dispellers. A lot of people come in and be disruptive. A lot of people come in and purposely be triggering people, and that's where the work come in at. Because you get a man, it's I be looking at these debates and things like that, and it seems so obvious that people are sent to come and say some of the divisive, or do some of the divisive things that they do. And sometimes it ain't always them people sending them. Sometimes it's they trauma sending them. And we have to be real about that. We have to be real about that. Sometimes, man, it ain't always them people. Man, sometimes these folks just traumatized and they just got baggage and they need to deal with their mess. Sometimes that be what it is. Sometimes that be what it is, man. But that's the thing when you have these outlets, these social media platforms. Everybody had the ability to share their own opinion. You know, as inflammatory as some people want to be, or whatever the case may be, people can do that. And that's true. This life path isn't for everybody. Everybody not meant for it. You gotta know, like, everybody couldn't get superpowers in the movie. Everybody didn't have the superpowers. Only a select few. Few were chosen. Only select few. So the work really starts with us. Like, we gotta start in our own homes, yo. We gotta start, like, because these kids, they way more open than we are, and than our parents were. We're more open than our parents, and our kids are more open than us. And that's because they have way more access to information way sooner. We just started getting access to a lot of this stuff, but they already have access to it. So I feel like we have to do that work. We got to start in-house. Start small. Start in your house. Start working with your family, working with your kids, them people you directly connected to. And then you connect with people that you're near, that's on the same thing, and you support each other. And you keep building and supporting. And then you find somebody else, and you keep building and supporting. And the next thing you know, you have a whole support system. Hey, well, look, I gotta, everybody, and that's how we develop a community. I might be a person, maybe I got a garden, maybe I farm, so maybe I do foods. Maybe somebody over here do, I don't know, maybe they make clothes, all, and then and this is a part of our support system. I'm supporting you based off of I'm supporting you because we appreciate the values that we living by in our life. So I'm gonna support you. I want to make sure that you good. Then when I need those things, I do that with you, and vice versa. You do that with me. So I'm dealing with my network of people, and it's not about cutting people out, but it's just about being protective of your energy. You got to guard your energy, and you can't give everybody access to you, contrary to popular belief. You got to build off your tribe. That's how you establish a support system. You know what I'm saying? So my homeboy do credit, and I know he do credit. Then I just deal with him when it comes to anything dealing with credit, anything finances, because we have that understanding that we have the same means of values of living, and I support that, bro. So I want to see you do good. I want to see you make it. I'm not going to take that need of service to somebody else that I don't even know how they live, that might not even vibe with my people. They might not even fuck with my people. So I'm going to go deal with who I know. I think that's how we start. I think it's take a step by step at a time, and that becomes something that's being done in different places. Next thing you know, I might be in Atlanta. I might have a network right here in Atlanta. I might connect with somebody in New Orleans. So now our network extends to New Orleans. We might even get somebody down in the Caribbean. Now we got somebody all the way down in the Caribbean. They do CMO. Like, we can do that, build it. That's what I think. Because everybody not going to be on what you own. So you have to find the people that's on what you own. And you got to let the people that's on what they own, let them be on what they own. You got to mind the business that pays. You got to mind your business. That's what mind your business mean to me. That's my means of being selfish. It's focusing all my energy on what I know I want to build up. I don't want to keep giving my energy to things that I know ain't building me up, or things that I know that don't rock with me or don't vibe with my, my values, my principles. Why? I don't want to do that. That's the power of my money, of my currency, choosing what I want to do with it. And with my time and all my energy. So if I don't want to deal with it, I don't have to do. That's my choice. That's how that's my responsibility. Because ain't nobody else going to be responsible for my energy and how I deal with it. Only me. So you got to make decisions what's best for you. And so many of us have this natural empathetic nature, this natural giving nature, because we come up in these narcissistic environments that we give away too much of ourselves. We don't put them boundaries up, and we overwhelm ourselves and end up giving away too much. Then we resentful. Then we depleted. Then we exhausted. Then we depressed. And we don't know why we done lost ourselves. Why? Because we didn't stand up in our own authenticity and who we was. And that's true. Everybody definitely does have something to bring to the table. You want to say the words the engine is, that's true. So, and then, like they say, when you get into the occult, when you save yourself, you say saving yourself does save the world. It might not make, you know. So that's why, it's certain things that you get when you get into the occult that makes some lessons easier to tolerate, easier to get through. There's some spiritual teachings that's just that way. How old am I? Y'all, I'll be 35 in how many days? In 6 days? What's today? Today's the 30th. Yep, in 6 days on the 5th. So on Monday, next Monday, I'll be 35. I'll be 35, y'all. I don't know what I'm gonna do for my solar return this year. I don't know. I might go to a rage room and just like do a release. Just let it all out. Just I don't know, just purge and just really release some anger, because when you're dealing with things in life, frustrations, things like that, I can get impatient sometimes. I notice when the more and more I'm having less and less patience, I know my anger is building up. That's how my way of observing, knowing myself, like that I have less patience, I have more anger, like my anger is building up. So I have to release. I need to do something with this anger now. Either I have to turn it into something I'm gonna create. I have to release it. And sometimes, when we have breakthroughs, a lot of times I come with a breakthrough. Like, it's not a bad thing. It's just a means of understanding. It's an emotion because it's means of us feeling powerless or hopeless. So, what's making you feel powerless? Go and get that out, That's why some people, when you see, they do a lot of jogging, they do a lot of running, or some people take it out in a punching bag. Some people go to a gun range. When you see that Fight Club, that's what Fight Club was about. It was all about the shadow self. So all of that energy is what that is. So in our youth, we get that out in competition when we play sports. So as adults, sometimes we get that out when we do business. As entrepreneurs, we make business moves because we have to be competitive when it comes to doing business. And depending on what business you are in, some are more competitive than others. But it's the same sense of the same type of energy. Yep, dancing. Sometimes you go out, sometimes you dance. It depends on your energy. Depends on your release. Anger gets you done at time. The key is not to be consumed. Exactly. You can't allow what they say are dark emotions, but the reason why they're dark emotions is because you talking about chaos. So it's an unpredictability factor. So you could blow up. You don't know what the fuck will happen, right? But you could also take that same energy and infuse it into limitless possibilities, because that's what that fire energy is. It's opportunities, it's possibilities. So when it when you have that anger, you can really put that into a creative channel. It's a good means of putting things in a creative channel. A lot of these artists do this. They get in there, something happens, they get the feeling in a way, go write a song, put it in a song. That's fire. That's anger. That's what you do with. That's what you do with fire. That's how your passions come about. Cause see, what your anger shows you is what you're passionate about. Show you what mean a lot to you. You ain't get mad about some shit that don't mean a lot to you. So you got to get to the root of why you feeling the way you feeling. Is something about what you're doing. Dedicated to your movie show, Bird. I've thought about that. That's gonna be. I've thought about the YouTube channel being mostly movie and show breakdowns. I thought about it. Yeah, I thought about it. But I haven't, maybe it's on channel. Maybe it's on channel. That may be a thing. That's a good suggestion. I just know currently I'm not as consistent with the breakdowns because I'm juggling quite a few things at the moment. But once I get some things settled down, I do have some things in work, that I'm kind of brainstorming on. I kind of like to sit on things for a little while. I get ideas stimulated really quickly. So it takes for me to kind of really sit on them. And if it's still there, if I still, if it's still a thing, then I know it's a real desire, a real intention. You just gotta know yourself when you operate. That's just me. You just gotta know yourself, You just gotta know yourself. Draconian is, joke when that inner fire gets unleashed right, is that it can destroy everything. It can burn everything down. That's why it's so afraid of it. Like, because it nothing can really be destroyed, It's the same energy. So if you activate too much of that energy, you can destroy everything. So, have y'all seen Cabin in the Woods? Watch Cabin in the Woods. Watch Cabin in the Woods. I did a breakdown on it. Watch Cabin in the Woods. Watch that one. Watch that joint. I don't know if you're gonna find anybody that think like this. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. I be feeling like an alien person because I just, and then I'm always trying to figure out how far I'm supposed to go when I'm talking to people because I don't want to scare them. I don't want to, alienate them, but I gotta speak my truth. So if they talking to me, then they talking to me. But the Cabin in the Woods is about. It's a whole movie. It's supposed to be like a scary movie, but it's not really scary. Yo, it's deep. I did a breakdown. I'm gonna share the breakdown in my story after this. But it's so deep, yo, because the movie is about they get these characters, these people to come up to this cabin in the woods, and it's to perform a ritual, but they don't know they're a part of a ritual. They're all playing roles in this ritual. And if this ritual is not completed, then these ancient beings are gonna rise up. So all over the world, they have different groups performing these rituals, and everybody's failing. And it's only down to this one last group that if they fail at this ritual, the ancient beings is going to rise up. And they take them through the whole concept of choosing their demise. So because this whole scary movie thing, anything that you could think of that could be in a scary movie was in this movie. It was all determined on what they chose or what they picked and what was going to be the thing that was going to kill. Yo, the movie deep. I can't even get into it. I'm going to put the breakdown up. I'm going to put the breakdown up on the story. And y'all can check the movie out. But it's a super, that movie is so occultly profound. It's so profound. They really telling us the whole deal. They really telling us the whole thing. And the dude who did the movie is the dude who did the Avengers. Like the writer behind it is the dude. Like most of these writers are occultists. They study occult. So these mythical stories, these ancient origin stories are hidden in occult brotherhoods and stuff like that. See, they were the custodians. So hear me out. They were the custodians. They had to have the knowledge. Like if none of our ancestors, because there was a select group who moved because they knew what was coming. They knew they was coming to get conquered. They had to leave Egypt. It was so many. The movie is The Cabin in the Woods. So they had to transfer the knowledge over because it was always going to be a point where we weren't going to be in power, where there was going to be other people in control. So they were the custodians of the information. They kept the information. So when we see these movies, they are just recollections from these occult stories and myths that's hidden in these brotherhoods and in these secret libraries. That's what they are. That's why they sound familiar. That's why they feel familiar, because they your ancient stories. That's what they are. But it's called The Cabin in the Woods. The Cabin in the Woods. It got the dude in it that played Thor. But I'm gonna put the breakdown up on the story. I'm gonna make sure I put that up. The series, them, I watched them. I watched them. I watched them. Yeah, it was good. I like them. I might do a little synopsis on that. It kind of give you the Lovecraft Get Out kind of vibe. So I kind of hate that it came after Lovecraft, because I feel like, you know, it was gonna be compared to Lovecraft in so many ways. But I watched them. I watched them. It's not fresh in my mind, but it was. I remember that it was some gems in it though. Do I think they're doing it for real? It's a possibility. Like a lot of these things could be ritual. We just have to like think about what ritual means. Like ritual just is like a recreating of the atmosphere, the energy of a time. So like I think a lot of things that we do be rituals and we don't be knowing it, because they need us to further the program. Like um oh, they shooting season 2 of them. I did not know. I didn't know they had a season 2. Oh, okay. So yeah, all right. I didn't know they was gonna do another season. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna have to check that out. Even out to animes. That's why a lot of people like animes. Y'all watch the animes. A lot of them is our story too. If you looking at Dragon Ball Z shows you the power of anger, how anger transforms, how you can use anger to conquer. This is what Dragon Ball Z about. When you look at the Attack on Titan and Cabin in the Woods, kind of like Attack on Titan is so man. Attack on Titan, that's heavy. That one is so heavy, yo, because it's really telling our story when they really talk about the Titans and how it was a bloodline and how they treat. Attack on Titans was it. Yeah, Naruto is heavy too. Naruto is heavy. So yeah, but I don't watch a lot of animes. My daughter watch them, but from the ones I've seen, or from the ones I've like even partially seen, they are they they the occult stories, man. Like it's all of this stuff. Like I said, truth is stranger than fiction. Truth is stranger than fiction. It's stranger than fiction. So they have to put it in there and call it entertainment, but they entering your mind like they tell it like playing your memories back to you. But we're gonna go on and wrap this live up. It's been real. This has been a good live. This was a good session. This was a good session. I'm gonna save this one. I'm gonna save the live so y'all can come back and check it out. I'm also gonna put it up on the YouTube. Watch for the fake pages, because the fake pages is gonna come and take the video and they're gonna put it on the fake page and they're gonna try and DM and say, but they not me. So please don't go on none of them fake. Don't get none of them fake pages. They not me. It's not me. And as I stated before, if y'all in the class, updates is gonna be periodically given throughout the week. By Wednesday, we'll have an astrology update. We'll have more numerology updates by Friday. If you have any questions, just reach out to me. The best way to reach out is to just message me on the website. Just click on the little chat bubble and you'll get me or somebody like directly associated with me. That's the quickest, fastest means of communication. And if you have any questions about any of the classes, anything you have trouble with getting in any of the classes or anything like that, I appreciate all y'all movie suggestions for me to do breakdowns. Send them to me. I that's gonna be a lot of things that I do and breaking down the movies and the shows. But yeah, anybody contacting you saying that was me, it was not me. So yeah, you want to report them and block them. I'm actually reaching out to Instagram. I should have some feedback real soon. I'm reaching out to them in a different terms of means or legal means and trying to get rid of them pages. Cause a lot of people just let them rock out, but I ain't feeling it. I ain't feeling it. I'm not feeling them using my name. So, it is what it is. Is weed good for spirit? I'm gonna answer this real quick. There's different things about the weed. It's a ritual in it. It's when you rolling it up, you doing everything you doing. It serves a purpose. Your inhale and your exhale serves a purpose. It's a form of a breathing exercise. Weed itself, we've always smoked weed as indigenous people. We've always dealt with the herb. We've always dealt with, shrooms, all those type of things. It's always been, I think, a part of our spiritual nature. The problem becomes when anything becomes a dependent or becomes an escape. So when you use weed to depend on, or when you use it to escape, when you use it to numb, when you use it as a reaction, when it becomes a pattern or habit to escape, when you have to do it regardless of if it's at a detriment to you, then you have to consider your means of the weed itself. You have to step away from it. So it's like a gun. Guns itself isn't bad. It can be used in a good way, but if in the wrong hands, it can be a very bad thing. So, like everything, moderation and balance is key. If you smoke, for me, it's a good spiritual practice, especially like when I'm diving into certain things. It helps to clear my mental space in a certain way, but I don't have to do it to be that way, so I like to try and keep my gauge on it. You know what I'm saying? I like to keep myself on it, but it's very healing. It has healing properties. It's good for you in terms of, they have it as a medical use a lot now, but we don't know. But the problem is, like everything, like food, we don't know where it's coming from. We don't know who's growing it all the time. We don't know what they're putting in it. We don't know the levels of THC versus CBD. So those type of little things, those little details can play a factor. They can play a factor because, again, they are always trying to infiltrate, always trying to find a means, a gate, or opening. So you want balance. You want balance. But it's great for relaxation. To me, smoking a blunt is no different than drinking a glass of wine. If a person can drink a glass of wine to be relaxed, I feel like you can smoke a blunt to relax. Now you get to talking about smoking all day long. Nah, I can't function like that, but it is what it is. You have to know yourself, and you have to be strong enough to know when you're depending on something, when something is becoming more than just a hobby or just a practice, so that's very, very important. So I say that with anything, and I want you to assess that with everything, not just weed. Look at sugar, look at sex in the same way, look at alcohol the same way, because all these things, we need food, but we don't have to have sweets. We need pleasure. We know sex is a part of our nature, but we can do it too much. So I say that to say everything in moderation. You know what I'm saying? Everything. Make sure you're not doing things for those type of reasons, and as long as that's the case, that's it can be a means of a healthy habit. Absolutely. Coffee, caffeine. See, me personally, I can't have caffeine. Like, it does something directly to my body, like physically, like I feel it, and when I take in sugar, I have to drink a ton of water, and it makes my mind slower, groggy. Even though I might get chipper, it makes my thinking that it's more cloudy. Like, I don't know. So it depends on the individual. It depends on the person. But I'm also a person who I never smoked coming up. I didn't really start smoking until I was like 25. So I never, I wasn't that way before. That may play a difference too. Some people have been doing it all their life. They've been doing it since they were a teen. They may need that change. Also look at that with pornography. Porn is very addictive and has very, very, emotional, spiritual, you know, consequences to it. You don't want to be addicted to that. All those type of things. Caffeine disrupts your equilibrium. Yep. So, in that sense, but in some sense, I think CBD is better. Like sometimes people get too much of the THC and they need more of the CBD. So it's a gauge. It's a gauge. You gotta know yourself. You have to know yourself. Because some of us are different. Like I'm aware I have certain things in my energy that can give me an addictive personality. So it's some things I don't even want to try. You know what I'm saying? It's some things I don't even want to go into the space of. I want to try this because I don't want to try it because that's just me knowing myself. That's just me knowing I don't want to do that. And then sometimes it's our our upbringings, our upbringings also. Like coming up, I seen a lot of people, like under alcohol influence in a bad way. So I'm not a heavy drinker. I don't drink a lot. Now I drink on occasion, like when I go out, but like getting drunk, I don't really do that. But it's because I've seen it in a negative light so much. Like growing up, I just saw a lot of bad things happen as a result of that. So to me, alcohol is worse than smoking weed to me. But that's to me, that's me and my experience. So everything is different for everybody. But it's been a pleasure speaking with y'all today. I got to get back to work and let me get on these energy reports and, chopping out this content for these classes and this information for y'all. But in the meantime, it's been real. I will get with y'all on another, in a few days or so. We're going to tap back in on a live in a few days. It's been a week, so I think we had a good enough conversation for today, y'all. But I appreciate y'all for stopping in, for giving me your ear, for all your comments and questions and everything. We definitely gonna chop it up again. I'm deciding how I'm gonna spend my birthday, so I don't know. So I'm trying to get a lot of work done before the weekend, because I don't really do nothing, y'all. I'm always chilling all the time. I'm always kind of reserved, so I gotta let my other side out a little bit. But I appreciate y'all. It's been real. Y'all stay dangerous. Peace.